Sagatai, Tosen, Sagakagi Magami Miefa, Tosen, Sagakagi Magala Bodao, Tosen, Iliano Sawi Magatia, Tosen, Sagatai, Tosen, Sagakawi Magami Miefa, Tosen, Sagakawi.
Well, first and foremost, let me say it's a great pleasure for me to come before my electorate, the good people of Edo South Central District, once again, after the very huge generosity that they showed to me in 2015. I want to give God the glory for making it possible for me to have the privilege, through their assistance, to represent all the very good people of Edo South Central District at the 8th Senate of the National Assembly from 2015 to date, and up to next year, May 2019. I want to thank each and every one, starting from our own royal father, Manobane Kwakolopolo, Bawari II, and of course all the subjects that make up this entire district, the 7 local government areas, Oriomo, Onwode, of your southwest, of your northeast, Uredo, Gobaha, and Ego. I thank them for the confidence that they had in me, and then of course the mandate which they gave to me very freely in 2015 to represent them at the Senate. Today we can talk about success in this outing, this first outing, and the success is that all the statutory functions I'm supposed to have performed as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria representing Edo South Central District. I've been able to perform them, namely, 1, making laws for the good governance of this country, 2, performing oversight function that of course will maximize the functionality of governments, ministry, departments and agencies, and then 3, representing the people of Edo South Central District in the Senate. Representing the people of Edo South Central District in the Senate means a whole lot more, because representing the people is to do their wish on their behalf, to be able to attract development to the district. I thank God that in these areas, God has shown mercy to me and my people of Edo South Central District, that one has been able to elicit developments, one is able to contribute his humble quota to the betterment of our people. Of course, like I said before, to my credit today, for the first 3 years, I have about 9 bills that were solely sponsored by me, and passed by the Senate, and I'm waiting presidential assent. I have well over 27 motions that were moved by me. Notably, they want to ask the executive to rename the Benin Airport after our departed royal father, Anobaredu Obarediawa. Of course, I was able to move other motions that are of immense importance to our people in Edo South Central District. To attract development to these districts, by the grace of God, all the electionary campaigns or promises that I made in 2015, I fulfilled them well above 90%. And the only one, of course, that will have made it 100% is going to start manifesting in the next 1 week, which of course is the construction of comprehensive youth center, and that is going to start. It's going to commence next week at the youth center on Okpava Road. That is the youth center headquarters of Okpava Road in Benin City. One that has to do with my own scholarship scheme, which I promised in 2015, that if I'm elected, I will give scholarship to children of the poor who, on account of the circumstances of their birth, will not be able to get good education because they are indigent. I'm glad to say that in the 7 local government areas, I've given out scholarship totally to 163, for university and then secondary school students who have this background. I'm giving out these numbers over 80 something of them are in the universities that I pay school fees for. And I promise that I'm going to use my allowances as a senator to meet up with this obligation. I want to pay school fees for the children of the poor. All the others are in secondary school that I pay school fees for. I decided to take this burden of their parents because I know how difficult times are. And then of course this patronage which I extended to our own children who are less fortunate has not known any element of sex, that not discriminated against political party leanings of their parents. They are not discriminated against sex, against tribe, as I have given to those who are Benis, even those who are Ijos, those who are Urhobos, those who are Ishans, those who are from Esako, and all of them, even those from Cross River State, Akwa Ibom, who are resident in my senatorial district, have all benefited from my scholarship scheme because they are from this senatorial district. They were born here, their parents live here, they go to school here, they were counted here in census in this senatorial district. So I have not discriminated against anybody on account of where he comes from, where he is from, whether it's sex, whether it's his political belief, whether it's political leaning, whether you are PDP, you are APC, you are any party, your parents belong to any party, whether visible or invisible. I have not discriminated against anybody. So the scholarship scheme, when I set it up about 3 years ago, I did the first edition in 2016, second edition in 2017, and I've done the third edition in 2018. Only last week Saturday, by grace of God, we were able to give out school fees to all those who were certified by the board that is headed by Professor Agbonlaho, and of course having a membership, Mr. Henry Ogbodu SAN, and of course Dr. Emmanuel Egarewa. They made these choices of these are children that are eligible for my scholarship, and of course as they did, I have equally attended to paying their fees as I promised. I thank God for the privilege of meeting up with this obligation for our people. I've been able to elicit a lot of consultancy projects and other projects that border on capital expenditure of federal government. Those are senatorial district over the last 3 years. I've been able to build schools where schools never existed or they were in short supply. Particularly, I remember our Ben community. When a community is in Urhoghide local government area, and this area is noted for producing the highest quantity of oil and gas in Edo State. Oben has been reputed to be the oil producing community in Edo South Central District, and the principal reason for which Edo State is described as an oil producing state, and by effect Edo State is named as a Niger Delta state. All this while, Oben community never saw government presence, from local government councils to state government to even federal government. Everything that existed in Oben before my intervention were things that were put there by way of companies that were involved in oil exploration, that were having a joint venture with the NPDC, Nigerian Petroleum Development Company, who is a subsidiary of the NNPC. If you go to Oben, you will see the police station built by Seplat. If you go to Oben, you will see markets built by Seplat. You build schools, you will see school block built by Seplat. Everything in Oben that is visible by way of corporate social responsibility, Seplat has been able to put some of these things, but these are grossly inadequate. And then of course, looking at the population of the people, the facilities were grossly inadequate. But the one that was very striking was the fact that even our children who were in primary school and in secondary school lack facilities, classroom blocks in which to learn. Particularly the primary school, where bats are taking over the only existing classroom blocks. And in seasons when of course they invaded the place, the children were sent out of school. When I came to Oben, to the glory of God, I was able to put 6 classroom blocks for primary school. And I will put another 6 classroom blocks for secondary school in Oben. So it's a success story, and I'm very glad. And all these ones I want to say, it is the people that voted for me that should get the accolades. It is the people too that should get the praise. Not me, that God used through them to do this. Of course, we are able to provide roads. For instance, in Benin City today, thank God I'm able to get the federal government to be able to put in place the streets, be able to put in the community road that leads to Ekai community. And of course, the Pokman Street is on it now. They are going to do Urhoghide Street is on. Of course, Urhoghide Street is going to come in. We are going to get Asoro Lane to come in. We are getting Awo Street to come in. We are getting Oil Access Street to come in. All these are roads that, of course, I've tried to get the federal, the Ministry of Nigeria Delta Affairs to construct. NDDC has been able to do Omorodion Street, Ofuwe Street, and some other streets, Osawi Streets. All these are our streets off Etete Road in the Jaro in Benin. So many of these other road constructions are coming in, using the agencies of government, the Ministry of Nigeria Delta Affairs, NDDC, and Federal Ministry of Works, Power Housing. I want to thank God too that during this period of time, I'll be able to build town halls in very many communities. The Baginawosa is there, the town hall is there. Presently, building a town hall in Okada, and a host of other town halls that are built in Ekai, and a lot of these other places that are built town halls. And of course, classroom blocks, like I said before, in Urhoghide community, in Huenio community, all of them too have enjoyed classroom blocks. I have a cultural industry that I built in Abudu. I got the Federal Ministry of Information to build a cultural industry when I was the Senate Committee Chairman on Culture and Tourism. Then when, of course, in 2016 budget, the ministry had advanced reason for them to build cultural industry in certain locations in the country. I threw up my own place because I believe Benin is the center of culture in Nigeria. And of course, it was gratifying that the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, quickly jumped at it and granted it. And of course, that culture industry has been constructed by way of my facilitation. Of course, we will be able to put other infrastructure in place in the different communities in Edo South Central District. But I give glory to God that all these are as needed. For instance, I'll be able to provide solar, boreholes in communities, and this one was mediated by the Benin River Basin Authority, from the Federal Ministry of Water Resources. I got that as a member of the Preparation Committee of the Senate. We were able to bring a total of about 27 solar boreholes to Edo South Central District. All the communities that never enjoyed water provision before, like Urhoghide, which was a very troublesome area where water could not be hit or could not be got all over these years. The other community is in Urhoghide. And of course, the Urhoghide community again the solar borehole. The Federal Government Girls College in Benin had a problem of water. We were able to put a solar borehole so that our children that are there, they have the benefit of having potable water, so that the ugly incident that happens in Lagos, will not happen. Where about 7 of our children, our daughters, died out of infection that came from non-provision of water in that school. And then of course other communities of Bozogbe community and a lot of other communities, Ologbo, and of course, like I said, 37 of them, that had additional other forms of water provision, borehole, and all those ones that were provided for these communities. And then of course the very famous Urhoghide area, the Urhoghide community, where we have over 38 communities. Those communities hitherto never got access to move from one community to the other because of the very riverine nature of that place, where of course during rainy season people will not be able to move from one community to the other and not be able to move their agricultural products. But what I did was to go and build 8 bridges in that community that could facilitate their movement from one place to the other, and of course the movement of their cultural products. I give glory to God that the people are happier for it today, that they have all of these, for them to use. Of course, the Oduna community, which is for the level in Ovia Northeast, as you come out of Wotu in Oredo, you come face to face with Oduna community. I was able to provide water for that community today, and of course they are happy, for that provision. Of course, all other areas, via Northeast, via Southwest, be able to provide water in Udo community. They too have been able to get all of that. And many of them too numerous to mention. So all these facilities, all these infrastructure are able to provide a number over 200 of them. And I believe before the year runs out, a lot of all these projects will be completed. I believe at this time I have to appeal to our people. I know too that there are over 300 communities in those South Central District in the 7 local government areas. I'll be able to cover the 7 local government areas, but I have not covered all the communities. And I appeal to all that there is no way I could have been able to do all these things all within this period of 34 years. But I want to say that the ones that are still left before my first tenure ends, which is next year, I want to see the ones that I can complete. But I appeal to you all, if you renew my mandate for another 4 years, all the communities now that have not benefited from federal presence, I promise you very firmly, and on my honor, that I will make all the provisions for you. Everything that your communities will need, I will attract it from federal government. I believe at this point, you don't have any reason to doubt me, because this same promise I made in 2015, but I thank God I'll be able to fulfill it because of your cooperation and support. I want to tell you, if you vote for me again, I'm not going to waste your time in the Senate. I'm going to bring development to you. All the communities that have not benefited will benefit. So that at the end of 8 years, I will hit my chest, and to the glory of God, and of course for what you have made possible at the people of Edo South Central District, I will say yes, every community in Edo South Central District has felt federal presence. The scholarship program will go on for those who have not gotten, you will get in my second tenure. The roads that many of you did not get, you will get in my second tenure. The schools you did not get, you will get in my second tenure. The water you didn't get, you will get in my second tenure. The town hall you didn't get, you will get in my second tenure. The markets that you didn't get, you will get in my second tenure. The markets now that are built in Urhoghide, the markets are built in Urhoghide, the markets are putting down now in Urhoghide community in Urhoghide, and of course all of that market, the one I'm doing too in Urhoghide, in Urhoghide, and all the other markets I'm building all over the place. The one I built in Ovia Southwest, and all the markets that are built in different places. Those who didn't get, I want to tell you, will get in my second tenure. And I can assure you that time, everybody will be glad that indeed federal presence has come, as elicited by your own son, Senator Matthew Urhoghide. So I appeal to all of you for support again. And this support this time, I will assure you, even if my first tenure I was able to do this, you can imagine what I will do in my second tenure when I will be better placed as a ranking senator in the Senate. It never happened before that Edo South Central District was visible in the Nigerian Senate. But now that we are there, if by the grace of God you renew my mandate through your support and voting for me in 2019, the position that Edo South Central District will occupy in the Nigerian Senate will be obvious. And that position will be the one that will make our people to be envy of pride in this country. I'll be able to give employment to about 86 of our indigenes in Edo South Central District. Those of them who read medicine, pharmacy, and such courses that need internship, I want to put on record I'll be able to place them in tertiary institutions, across the country. That is health facilities where they will be able to take their mandatory 1 year, additional training either for internship or for housemanship, of various descriptions. I've been able to place them. And then of course those of them that are going to course federal civil service, all agencies of government like immigration, federal road safety, federal revenue service, FROS, federal Inland revenue service, Nigerian army, the prisons, and all of those agencies of government. I've been able to put about 86 of them. And these ones are the ones who applied for these jobs, who brought their acknowledgement slips to me, containing their own reference number. And of course I'll be able to follow it up for them to get employed. I want to equally say too that our youths, a lot of them have been able to bring training to them. Training that will afford them the opportunity of seeing another opportunity of success in life. Another window of success I'll be able to open to them I've retrained many of them in other areas. I'll be able to retrain them, in machine tool technology, so that they know what it is to go into machine fabrications and all of those things. Because today, technology is it. Science and technology is it. So, and I'll be able to train them. I'll be able to train a crop of others in the agro business, because there are businesses that are cultural, produce, and all these agricultural produce that we have, a lot of industry can emanate from them. A group of our young graduates, who are currently not employed, have been trained in that area. I'll be able to train people in the various aspects of tourism and hospitality, because that is the evolving world today. Hospitality and tourism is the world, because it involves human beings, and our populations are increasing all over the world. Human interactions and human businesses that can emanate from movement of human beings are on the increase. So I've started to train our own children who went to universities, who have degrees, who have HND, who have OND, or to school certificate, to be trained in various aspects of society and tourism. And I want to say that up to date, I've been able to train over 4,000 of them, so that they have the opportunity of having a second address, of having to look elsewhere outside the basic training, which of course they have received, in tertiary institutions. I want to say these training are not just ordinary trainings. They are trainings. If they practice the things that they have been taught, they will earn more money than they will receive if they were in any government establishment or any government employment. So I have tried as much as possible to bring federal agencies. I brought PRODA here, I brought FRAIN, I brought NIHOTO to Edo South Territory to train people. And of course, we are still counting. By the grace of God, before the end of this, my first tenure, probably we'll still be able to bring agents of government or federal government to come and train all our other youths that are not engaged in employment. And putting schools, citing schools, citing health facilities in this state. I have done my very best, and I continue to do my very best. And those who want more in their areas, I want to promise that if we have the opportunity of being re-elected, I will make these provisions in the different communities. In the last 3 years, the glory of God, I've been able to give empowerment materials, apart from education, apart from training. We're able to give empowerment materials to a lot of our youths, our women, who are traders, our widows, and of course even our men. What I have done in this area is to make the youth to make a living. I provided tricycles for them, so that we're able to do the business of transportation, within our communities, in these our urban and rural areas. These ones, I believe too, that instead of our youth moving around from place to place and not doing anything, those of them, youth leaders and all of them in different political parties, and even those that are not in politics, I'll be able to provide tricycles for them, so that at least in a month they will be able to get 50 and 60,000 naira, which will be able to put food on their table. And if well managed, many of them will be able to replace some of these machines, from which of course they can even grow their fleets and then conquer poverty. I'll be able to provide motorcycles for those who are in the four rural communities of Urhoghide, Ovia Southwest, or Ovia Northeast, because these are areas where motorcycles are still being used, are not banned by government. So those ones in those communities, I'll be able to provide for them. I'll be able to provide deep freezers for women who do business that needs refrigeration, fish, selling drinks, selling water, and all such items that of course we need them to have, freezers or deep freezers. I'll be able to empower them. And then of course we'll be able to give grinding machines to market women who are in the business of grinding, threshing machine for those who are in the business of growing cereals and rice, beans, and all such things. We are able to give the threshing machines. We have been able to give generating sets to those whose businesses are depending on the provision of authority source of power. We're able to do that, for most of our men and women, very young people. And I'll be able to give sewing machines to those who are trade tailors but didn't have the money or the funds to buy sewing machines. I'll be able to provide for them. And then the women who are involved in petty trading of provisions, those who are selling vegetables, who are selling crayfish, fish, and such like, I'll I'll be able to provide funds, for them, to enhance their business and grow the volume of their business, so that in the end, the profit they make, we're able to put better food on the table for the family. I've equally placed premium on good health services to our people. In 2016 and 2017, I was able to give to our people who are deserving of cataract and glaucoma operations. I did a whole lot with African Eye Foundation. I paid for all the surgeries of all the people who had this challenge, and today they have received their sights back, and I give glory to God. I've equally provided glasses for those who deserve to wear glasses, to be able to correct their vision, be able to do that, be able to deworm our school children who had the problem of worm infections, over the period of time. And of course, in other areas, I'll be able to provide health, services to our people who have met me one way or the other, who have asked for assistance, and I'll be able to do so. If my mandate is renewed, I want to tell our people, those who cannot afford healthcare, I will do my very best to add value to your lives, and I will be able to provide my resources so that you'll be able to have adequate healthcare, your way. I promise I will do it. I will put in place so that those who will come after me, they will now queue from there and do the needful for our people. I will just support through the ballot box. Voting for me will be the one that will ensure this. God bless you all. Oba Atokwe, he said.